Hello Pisces friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Pisces August 2022 Astrology Must Knows Horoscope Forecast. Definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com. That's the interface for all the free goodies I make for you each month so you don't miss anything that I work hard to bring you to make the most of the starry possibilities. And I'm so excited to announce finally, based on all of your requests, I've gotten so many of them, for a private member site with extra content from me. So you can go to Annie B Astrology. And again, that link and the other one I gave you will be in the notes underneath the video or podcast. So I hope to see you in my new exciting forum to give you even more of what you love most that I bring you each month. This is for you if Pisces is your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign, or any other Pisces placement that you watch for. What we're going to talk about here will be part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Pisces friend, meaning if you've got, let's say, March 13th through the rest of the sign, or like 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, as a Pisces placement, I highly recommend you additionally listen to my Aries reports because you very late degree friends have a more complex read and you will benefit from both the Pisces and Aries readings. So what's going on in August? We're going to break it down and talk about all the things I think are most relevant for you to make the most of this time. The first big must know is that this is the last month of our breather time between the eclipse seasons. Okay, so we've got another set of Scorpio-Taurus eclipses in October and November, and because the eclipse season, is the time when we start to get heated up with the news and information and events and life-changing situations that change our trajectory. The season is 4 to 6 weeks before and after each eclipse. So that's going to get started in September. So a big must know is that August is the last time before we start to step into that season full of very active change. So we've got a nice breather here between at least that particular cycle. So that's very good news. The next big must know is that we are in the last open period. This is the last month of that beautiful open period that I've been talking about, free from personal planet retrogrades, that started June 19th and stretches until August 21st. An open period in the stars is when the personal planets, the ones closest to us, so in this case Mercury, Venus, Mars, are not in retrograde or their shadow periods, because that denotes a time of blasting forward, of the tides going out, of pushing and creating and launching and setting into motion very, very big steps of the things that you are trying to make your life, better. So this is a very exciting time because we still are in that open period, free from those personal planet retrogrades, and that's going to start to fade after August 21st. We'll start to descend into Mercury retrograde shadow. September 4th, we'll start to descend into Mars retrograde shadow. We'll talk a lot more about that and later in this report. But the big thing to know here is that if you've got a big launch, a big move, a big decision, big projects, anything that needs extra oomph, anything that needs extra get up and go or sustained focus, or that you want to be around for a long time and that you want to be the easiest for planning with the least amount of changes or things set into uncertainty as the retrogrades tend to do, then take advantage of doing the most you possibly can in this window, because we are going to be in for a long retrograde cycle with Mars that's going to run into spring or fall for you all down under of 2023. So we'll go into more details about that. But the big must know here is that if you've needed to get off your butt to do something, this is the time. And the good news is that we've got a lot of Leo placements, okay? So what does that mean for Pisces? That is the fire energy that puts the fire underneath your watery pot. So July, August, you're having this beautiful series of opportunities to motivate you into action, to do something with those deep feelings and idealistic ideas and beautiful artistic projects and anything that has been more in your inner world that you want to be more part of your outer world and sharing with other people. this is a huge time. So you might have to overcome some fears. You might have to overcome some hesitations and uncertainty with yourself in the process. But the beautiful Leo placements are making you highly creative and highly motivated to share your expression with the world. And you can do this in a way that actually earns you money. The combination of the Leo planets, with them also moving through your 6th house of daily work, like your office or your employment, this is a beautiful combination that is really going to motivate you and bring lots of opportunities for you to have the work that you need, have the vocation that you need, and also step into deeper levels of healing. This is a very, very important time for getting your routine and your schedule as far as your wellness put together. Diagnostics, surgeries, voluntary or, necessary, anything having to do with finding a right practitioner to help you with your wellness, you have the motivation and you have the starry support to get the help that you need to make your health the best, to make your stress management the best, to make your work life the best, your current work life, or to bring new elements in. Remember that this time is very much about the new. You can keep doing everything as you've been doing it before, but this month is the last month that you're going to have all of this extra motivation to crack out of things that are old, that are no longer serving you. So this month is a very good time to do an assessment of the things in your life that are working for you and the ones that aren't, and to actually take action on the ones that aren't. So that is a big must know. Now, along with this, let's see what else. We're going to start to have the energies move into Virgo. Now, Virgo is an earth sign that is in many ways very compatible with your water energies. And at the same time, Virgo energies make an opposition with Pisces. So opposition points can be points of conflict, or they can be points, again, of motivation, of something that makes you keep a lot of balls up in the air and actually keep juggling them and get a whole bunch of things straight. So you're going to have a strong polarity between your me, we sector, so you and your physical body and your way of moving in the world and your recognition and your hobbies that lead to income and your fun and your artistic offerings, versus your relationship and the people in your life and who needs what from you and how you can balance that with your personal needs. So this is going to be a very big time. August and into September is a very big time for Pisces to reevaluate what things you can take out of your daily schedule that are not working for you, so that you can better balance your needs and the needs of the people that you show up for. So lots of opportunities are going to come in partnership, in relationship. If you're looking for a new relationship, this month is one of your best months of the whole year. If you're looking to progress in a relationship you currently have, this is also great for that. So a lot of collaborating, a lot of connecting with other people, and this can be virtual or live, but we've got a ton of energy for Pisces, all centered around your relationships and connecting with other people, and that can either be through personal things or through your work. So there are a lot of tie-ins here to your work, to your business, where you could see a growth spurt for the your work sector, whether you're employed by someone or whether you have a business of your own. There's a lot of energy that's centered around streamlining, perfecting, advancing, collaborating. So take full advantage of these opportunities, because they are going to put a little pressure on you, but life is pressure, creation is pressure, and form is pressure. This is something to always remember when we see a pressured series of transits. Pressure is what actually creates the human form. It's what compresses the ethereal into the human. This is the process we go through when we compress in a birth process, going through the birth canal into the world, or however we get out into the world. There's this pressure process. And so pressure creates diamonds. Pressure creates life. Pressure creates form. And so just know that the pressure is on right now, but it can be good type of pressure, because there could be lots of opportunities to help you create the forms in your life that you have wanted. Okay, so lots of new sparkly energy. So one of the points to note this month, I'm trying to think if I want to go in order. No, let's just talk about this while we're talking about Virgo energy. So we've got a new moon in Virgo at 4 degrees, and that's going to be on August 27th. Okay, so new moons are especially great seed planting times, especially great for new beginnings, especially great for moving a little further into a process that's already been created, kind of like new chapters. And this is going to light up the energy of relationships, and this is going to light up the energy of actually the 6th house of work and all of those things we talked about before. I also want to mention that there is a massive amount of energy in the sky for everyone, and especially for Pisces, about things with animals and pets and working with animals or wildlife or nature and things like that. So there might be something really relevant for you. Maybe you're going to some national parks or going to spend time in nature, and this would be a really amazing time to reconnect with things that are wild, things that are, you know, maybe that you see around like birds and trees, but that you're not taking the time to enjoy them. So this month is going to offer a lot of opportunities there. But this new moon is going to open up some new relationship possibilities for everyone. And those of you who are in the early sector, so let's see, this is going to be like the end of February people. So basically February born Pisces, you all are going to feel this new moon opposition the most. So this again could be a pressure point, but it also can be a pulling of your energies into action. So the same things that we could say could cause pressure are the same things that could cause action, and the same things that can create manifestation. So there's going to be a lot of impetus to create something new within a relationship, whether that's a client or personal relationship. And those of you in the February born, the closer to 4 degrees, the more you're going to be feeling that even more personally. Okay, so the next big must know has to do with a beautiful aspect in Earth this month. Okay, so we do have more salty aspects than sweet ones this month. So we are going to have a series of road bumps. You know, if you just kind of imagine it that you're going along, and then you have to slow down for a road bump. And then you start picking up speed and then stop for a road bump. Okay, so the month is going to be full of things like that. Nothing to fear, but just kind of nuisances, things that, you know, are just going to make you stop and think and redirect as necessary throughout the month. Which is fine, you know, because sometimes we need that, you know, we need that little jostle in order to stop and become aware and think and then redirect. So that's going to be a big must know and theme for the month, is the stop, become aware, breathe, and redirect type of energy. But on August 22nd, and actually the days around it, so we'll say like August 19th through August 25th, you know, with the exact hit being on the 22nd, Mercury in Virgo is making a beautiful trine with Pluto in Capricorn. All right, so this is amazing for good news coming in. This is amazing for writing projects or publishing projects or any other creative projects. This is exciting for possible communication breakthroughs. This can also have to do with getting a new device or getting a new vehicle, which is very well indicated this month, as I will mention more later as we talk about the impending Mars retrograde. And Pluto also has to do with support and resources and activating something that somebody else has accomplished in order to be helpful to you. Okay, so this is a time where you may fall back on someone else's laurels in a way, but in a way that's mutually beneficial. So definitely be seeking these win-win relationships and collaborations at this time, the whole month. And then there's a special sweet spot here because the trine is the most favorable aspect in all of astrology. And this is going to be awesome for everyone in the zodiac. This is going to be making nice angles or more intense angles for anyone with water and earth signs. So this beautiful Mercury and Pluto trine is going to be at 26 degrees. So that will offer yummies for everybody, but especially those of you in the late degree designation. So the closer to 26 degrees, the more you'll get a kiss from this aspect, and the more you'll feel it more personally. And so anyone will say from 21 degrees through the rest of the sign, the closer to 26 degrees, the more intense. So that's basically March 11th through the rest of the sign and those of you closest to around March 16th will feel that the most, but nobody will be left out of the potentials. Okay, so the next big must know is that August is the last month before the very long Mars retrograde cycle begins. This is a 6 to 7 month cycle if you include the pre-transit shadow period and the post-transit shadow period. We're looking at from September 4th through March 15th of 2023 that Mars is going to be in retrograde. And as we are in it, I'm going to be talking more and more about it. I do have other resources I've created, but we are also going to go in this report, take a nice dive into the energies of Mars retrograde versus the energies of Mars direct, okay? Because we're on this line here. August, Mars energy fully direct. Into the first couple of days of September, it starts the retrograde. So I'm going to give you a little visual. And if you're listening through podcast and you want the visual, you can find this syndicated recording here on YouTube. But either way, I will list the information so you won't need to see it. It will be, expressed verbally. But I'm going to show you what's good to do in August versus what's good to do in September through next March as it relates to Mars retrograde. But the last must-knows before we deep dive into that are that Mars is going retrograde, and your ambition and your oomph and everyone else's may start to wane. Okay, so you're basically going to want to get the things done that need get up and go now. And this is going to be a retrograde in Gemini. Okay, so for everybody, this is going to have to do with cars, transportation, mobility, devices, communication, and specifically for Pisces, this is going to center around your home, family, and real estate. Okay, so if you have been forging forward on a home project or a real estate project or a family project or anything like that, adding to your family, getting a tenant, anything like that, you might have to go back and do some checks and things might start to slow down here, okay? But this Mars retrograde is going to be very much centered on home, family, your inner psychology, childhood psychology, meaning the patterns that you had as a child that are still expressing as an adult. All of that's going to come up very strongly. And this is actually going to be in a square for you all, okay? So as Mars goes through its retrograde from 25 degrees back to 8 degrees, it's going to be making a square for any of the Pisces that has 8 through 25 degrees. Okay, so that's basically going to be the last couple of days of February through, 25 degrees is going to be like 15th, so like March 15th. So that is, a very wide stretch. So anyone in there is going to get a square from Mars, which means that you're going to have extra impetus and it's going to send more questions about how your family has affected who you are, how your family is affecting how you currently express yourself, things in both your childhood family and your current family, how, you can figure out how to be yourself and express yourself while still being happily within your family unit. These are the types of questions that are going to be featured over the next 6 months. And we'll start to get rowdy pretty soon, because even as Mars gets into the 4th house, which it will this month, then you're going to start to see these types of topics. Now, Mars moving into the 4th house can make someone very restless and can make someone very, very excited about home projects. So if you are finding that you're going to want to do some home projects, try to do as much of that as you can in August, because it's going to be much easier for you to get people to show up to work for you this month than it will in the months to come. Mars going through the 4th house, as you will have for a very extended period of time, is also going to bring up for a lot of people the desire to move or the desire to expand your space or do something different with your home or get a second home or something like that. So the topics of your housing and what you call home and all of that is going to come up very strongly starting this month in August. And if you are wanting to move and you're kind of ready to do that, August is actually a fantastic time to move, especially the first 3 weeks before you get into the Mercury shadow, when things start to get called into question and contracts get to be more short term and such. So a lot going on in your home and family sector. All right, so now let's do this deep dive into Mars direct versus Mars retrograde, understand all of this a little better, go over the dates of the shadow periods and the retrograde in more depth, and help you align your actions with the natural rhythms. Okay, so I'm recording this for you to help you better understand the Mars retrograde energies, to look at the dates that this full cycle will be relevant for, and to talk about the types of activities we want to align when Mars is direct versus when Mars is retrograde, and give you timelines for that so that you have the notice now that you can try to align your actions with being in sync with Mars. You know, is what I try to focus on, is to help you align with the natural rhythms of the universe, because when we go with the rhythms, it's much easier and much more enjoyable than if we try to push against them. So the more you know about how the rhythms work, the more you can align naturally with them. Okay, so Mars retrograde, Mars goes retrograde every 2.2 or so years, just to give you a little context. If you think back to around 2 years and 2 months ago, we were in a Mars retrograde cycle. And you can actually look up a Mars retrograde calendar of the past online and look at the times when Mars was in retrograde, you know, just for your research, to try to understand the types of energies that you experienced. And I always highly recommend writing in a journal the types of things that come up, especially as I'm helping you get educated on what Mars represents. If you pay attention to the kind of things that come up in Mars retrograde in general and for you personally, then you have your own private plan of how you're going to work with those energies, okay? So the pre-transit shadow period starts September 4th, okay? These shadow periods are very important to note, especially when we have planets that take longer. I mean, really, for any planet, the shadow period is relevant, but the longer the planet takes to do its, full orbit, the longer that pre and post shadow transit are going to be. So in these shadow periods, you start seeing a building of the types of retrograde things that we see, and the energies get stronger and stronger from the beginning of the shadow period, which is September 4th, through October 30th, which is when the actual retrograde is. But if you try to play the game, should I hurry up and do my launch or my big important thing, October 17th, because it's not quite retrograde, you're playing a dangerous game, because, you're in the shadow period, and the more you tune in, the more you'll see how these energies are present even before the actual retrograde occurs. So we're talking about September 4th through October 30th, a building of the retrograde energies, October 30th through January 18th, 2023 for the actual retrograde, and then a starting to lighten with every day we get past January 18th and move towards March 15th of 2023. Those energies are lightening every day. So, if you have to do something and it's not quite March 15th, at least the energies are much stronger and better than, let's say, if you tried to do something, with a Mars direct type of energy, right after the retrograde ended. So we're talking about Mars going retrograde from 25 degrees of Gemini back to 8 degrees of Gemini. Okay, so now let's talk about, just focus on, well, I guess we'll just leave it there. That's fine. Okay, so through September 3rd, so that means all of August, okay, which is the month right before the energies really start to brew for retrograde, we're really focusing on this new forward movement, tide going out, anything that you want to go longer term, any major launch that you want to have a good, nice birth date. Remember, anytime you do something major, it's a birth date for that activity, and it will carry all the energies of that time. Anything that requires all the things that Mars rules, oomph, get up and go, initiation, energy levels, ambition, initiative, follow through, any of these things. If you have a project that's going to require that type of energy, yours or other people, like you need other people to show up or to collaborate with on a project, you're not the only one that's going to be feeling the retrograde energies. They also will be. So if you're trying to initiate a project that needs other people to show up with their energy and ambition and follow through, then August, up until August, or really, June 19th through all of August is like this really nice open period for all of the personal planet retrogrades. But as far as Mars is going here, anything up until through the end of August and the first couple of days of September, you're going to have a lot more energy for these types of things. Now, the aspect of Mars ruling metal also comes into play. So if you have to purchase anything made of metal, cars, devices, machinery of any kind, major lawn mowing equipment, the direct time is a great time to get the best, focus on anything with metal. And this also has to do with surgeries. Now, please hear me. Just because I'm saying try to, know that there's more energy from the perspective of Mars transits supporting surgeries, whether they're voluntary or necessary, when you've got the direct time. If you're in the retrograde and you have to have a life-saving surgery, don't worry about it. You need that and you have to do it, so don't hesitate to do something that the doctor says will be curative or that you need to prevent a bigger problem. But just to kind of have a guideline. If you're going to need a surgery, you'll have better support for that from the Mars perspective, through August, basically. And the same thing with haircuts, scissors, right? So if you need a new stylist or a new style, you'll have extra oomph for that through August and the first couple of days of September, tattoos, things like that, anything with the metal. If you have to put some legal, instigate legal proceedings against someone, even if you feel like you were wronged, that still is, from the astrological standpoint, an act of aggression, which is ruled by Mars. And there's more oomph and support when Mars is direct if you have to initiate legal proceedings. Now, if you're just responding to something and it's out of your hands, you got to do whatever you got to do. But if you're the one initiating something, Mars direct has much more support there. Okay, so now when we go into Mars retrograde, and obviously I'll be talking about this more as we're actually in that time, but I just want to kind of give you a heads up so you're understanding the flow and you can kind of position your projects and your planning accordingly. So Mars retrogrades basically from September 4th through March 15th, September 4th, 2022 to March 15th, 2023, and especially strong October 30th through January 18th. We're talking about going back to old things or just work as usual, anything that you've been having to do, although you might be a little more lazy and you might be less ambitious, things as usual, editing, light, low stakes projects, even if you want to do something new, but you're not attached to the outcome. And, the biggest thing here is to not take on anything that requires a titanic commitment and follow through, because the odds are that you're going to get lazy or busy or unambitious. And so committing or over promising is a very big, warning here. But anything where you're just kind of working in the backdrop, anything with reflections and self-development and therapy, individual, couple, family, is amazing. And along those lines, dealing with anger and resentment. A lot of times when people are chronically angry and resentful, even if you've done inner work, there could be something going on with your gallbladder and your liver. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to diagnose anything. I'm just saying from the energetic standpoint, from doing thousands of live individual readings and doing horoscopes for a very long time and working with astrology medically for 20 years, I have seen when your liver and gallbladder are overburdened, a lot of times the way you are noticing that as a symptom is actually chronic anger and resentment. So if you've done inner work and you can't think of why you should be angry or resentful anymore, it's possible your gallbladder and liver need some work. And that those things may or may not show up on standard medical tests, okay? So you can do things to love your liver. Also, neurological things, Mars does additionally rule Aries, and also Mars is a co-ruler for Scorpio, so the sexual organs would be in here as well, or reproductive organs. All of those might might have some things that are under the surface that need to be dealt with either energetically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically. This energy of stepping out of a victim mentality is very important because a lot of times people feel resentful because they feel like something is happening to them. So just kind of exploring this topic. The same thing with reckless behaviors. I don't know that reckless behaviors are really a great idea anytime overall, either through your voice, like saying something to someone, or your deeds. But it's especially, you have to be especially careful with your head and your physical body. Oops, sorry about that. And your physical body, in Mars retrograde, and old injuries might, or issues might come up to be dealt with. It's a fantastic time for rest and staycations and vacations, enjoying the fruits of past labor, clearing up unfinished business on any level, whether it's in your yard or whether it's in your relationship. All of these things are great for the retrograde. And I have even more resources. If you find my book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe, it's actually in all major booksellers on the shelves, or you can get it online or at independent bookstores. I have my no-go checklist of, how to make decisions in Mars retrograde and the questions to ask yourself, and plus a more detailed list of the direct versus retrograde energies. But I just wanted to give you a summary so that you can understand what kinds of things are good to do in August and before for your planning purposes, and what kind of things are good to table or sort of put in your planner for, the last months of the year, September through December, and a little bit into 2023. You can also search for Annie Botticelli Mars retrograde to find a video that I've made on the topic, another video, and also I have a blog on the topic of Mars retrograde, and I also have a blog on general retrograde advice. Okay, so if you're wanting to prepare or get more information, then you can use those resources as well. And of course, continue watching my monthly horoscopes as I will guide you through the rest of this direct process, and then all of the time we're in retrograde. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that, and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.